So I've been playing Horace recently, and I wanted to talk about it so bad, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. This is what I think of spoilers and the digital age. Warning, legit spoilers for Horace abound. Now you can't get angry when I talk about things I've seen and heard. Cool? Cool.
A month or so later, Heather and I were playing video games, when the old man said he wanted me to come outside. He said it had been a year since I had arrived, so he had a present for me. He placed the teddy bear high up on a wooden platform. He then told me I should try to pick it up. Try as I might, I couldn't reach the teddy bear. However, I still don't understand what happened next.
So, the old man's death, eh? I would consider this to be the inciting incident of the narrative. The thing that sets Horace on his path. The gameplay ending parameter is the million pieces of junk, right? So, I would call the inciting incident the point in which Horace is given his quest by the old man, or is it when the old man dies and Horace wakes up years later? That's the inciting incident. This is represented by the sweeping orchestra that swells when you exit the house for the first time, right?
I was slightly scared. This was the first time I had been outside on my own. I knew what I had to do. This had to be my purpose. I would clean a million things, so I could become a real boy. Whatever that meant.
It's even an unmissable story achievement. So maybe that's the start of the game. This kind of spoiler-filled inciting incident happens all the time. The first example I can think of is The Last of Us with Joel and his, spoiler for The Last of Us, daughter's death. This happens within the first hour of gameplay, just like in Horace. Unless it takes you a really long time to overcome the initial platforming sections. This sort of safe tutorial level really helps bond the player to the protagonist in both narrative and in gameplay. This pairing is one of the things that makes gaming unique from other mediums. But I'll talk about player agency another time. I remember when the recent Star Wars trilogy first hit theaters. I couldn't see it opening weekend because of work. Now, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I wanted to go into the new trilogy fresh, spoiler-free. I saw it on the Tuesday following the opening weekend. It was then I realized just how hard it is not to have something spoiled for you. I had to distance myself from my social media, couldn't watch my favorite movie critics for a while, I had to shy away from conversations with my coworkers. So then Horace. I love the first hour of Horace. It establishes everything you need to know to begin the journey and leaves you wanting more after the initial course is finished. Expertly paced and thoroughly thought out, you can see the passion of the designers in every fluid animation.
We enjoyed the same films.
Every pixel of detail and facial expressions. To the musical tone which enhances the emotional catharsis that the player is encouraged to feel.
Soon she knew as much about me as
because Horace is a robot.
If not more.
He is only AI. In the 21st century alone, AI has skyrocketed. Just like other technological advances, the rate of climb creates fear in many people.
As when it came
I am
to
in favor of
teaching
AI
things,
enhancement
the
in our
old
lives,
man always
technology
liked to pick
advancing and all that.
interesting locations.
If we could have access to all the world's information with just a thought,
He had
instead of
explained
carrying
the
around a
basics of
phone,
mathematics
you would have
to me
something
at the
that would
Great
be
Pyramid
integrated
of
into your
Egypt.
person, like a chip. Would that make
Taking
you human
history of the
anymore,
dead at
though?
night, surrounded
Would you
by
be a
mysterious
human
giant
being
stones,
if you had a chip connected to the internet?
and even showed me science.
That's
in
the main
action
concern
I
I found
had
when
ever
discussing
lived.
fear of technology. How incorporating it into
This is
us
why I was
is
surprised when
going to
the old
be
man took
what
me to a
changes human
restaurant.
beings.
It was
I
nice,
mean, what happens
but
to
it seemed
humanity
very somber
if or when
compared
the
to the
technology we
previous
create
grand
exceeds
vacations.
us?
He said he just wanted
In
to
my
chat,
opinion, Horace
and
aims
it
to
was
show you a
nice and
narrative
quiet,
that answers that
but it
question
was his
by
favorite
focusing on
place to
one
eat.
family's story
We
with
talked
puzzles
about
and
life,
addictive platforming
the
gameplay.
universe,
I
Douglas
highly
Adams,
recommend it.
everything really. When I asked him why were we here, why did we exist, he just smiled and said, life is like a game, just don't expect to be finished anytime soon. When I looked puzzled, he said, well, everyone should have a purpose. So I asked him, what's my purpose? He thought for a bit, then said, so you want to be a real boy? Which just confused me even more. Eventually the old man said, for now, I want you to help clean things around the house. I must have looked unimpressed, as he then said, okay, I want you to clean 1,000,000 things. It didn't sound like the meaning of life, but I suppose you've got to start somewhere.